Alan Atadero had a 3-year-old son named Jared and a 6-year-old girl. In October of 1999, he was still teaching physical education in Jefferson County of Colorado. He owned Pudra River Resort on the South Fork of Pudra River. This resort is 75 miles northwest of Denver. During a weekend in October of 1999, Allen was hosting a single groups excursion, the Christian Singles Network. The view in this resort is very beautiful, and the group wanted to spend some time there to get away from the city life. On Saturday, the group decided to drive to a fish hatchery and then take the Big South Trail and enter the Comanche Peak Wilderness. Allen's daughter and son was with him in the resort, and his daughter asked him if she could go with the group. Allen had taken his daughter to different trails in the past to hike, and he knew she understood the rules, so he allowed her to go. 3-year-old Jared also asked Allen if he could go. His father never had taken him to trails to hike, so he was hesitating to let him go with the group at first. But after seeing Jared really interested to go, he gave up and let him go. He watched his son's smiling face as the cars left the resort. The group went to Fish Hatchery and then went to Big South Trail to hike. Few people took responsibility to watch the kids. Soon after, Jared was running ahead of the group, hiding in the bushes and having fun. After hiking for 1.5 miles, one of the persons who was supposed to keep track of Jared realized he hadn't seen the boy for 15 to 20 minutes. It's worth noting this trail parallels the Pudra River. On one side of the trail there is a river, and the other side there is a steep mountain walls. There are big trees and heavy bushes around the trail, so there are lots of places to hide. Once the group realized Jared was missing, they started searching the area, and one of the members drove back to the resort and told Jared's father that everything was okay, that Jared was okay, but they just couldn't find him. Jared's father let the authorities know, and an all-out search was started. Searchers talked to 2 fishermen who were fishing down the river where the group saw Jared last time. The 2 fishermen stated they saw Jared, and the boy asked him if there are bears in the woods. The fisherman didn't think much of the question and didn't see anyone along the river or near the boy. Searchers brought in canine dog teams to the area, but the dogs were unable to pick up a scent. A helicopter joined the search as well, but eventually crashed and injured 5 personnel in the helicopter. There was 70 people searching for Jared, but they didn't find anything of a value. They did find Jared's footprints close to a mountain lion footprint. The county sheriff brought in experts to the area, and they stated the footprints were made at different times and they didn't relate to one another. When searchers didn't find anything, Jared's father asked the sheriff to ask FBI for assistance. Allen was convinced Jared was abducted, and he even went to his local congressman to get the FBI involved. The county sheriff claimed FBI was monitoring the case. The official search was eventually ended, but volunteers, family and friends kept searching the area during the winter and after for Jared without any success. On June 10, 2003, 4 years after Jared went missing, hikers were in the area where Jared was last seen when they found the pieces of clothing. Hikers knew about Jared's disappearance, so they took some of his clothes to the sheriff but left some of it in the location to identify where they found it. Sheriff sent a group of investigators, and they recovered 1 pair of pants inside out with right leg torn off, a pair of tennis shoes, and a pullover coat with tears in it. They took pictures of the clothes and sent it to Allen for review. He confirmed they were Jared's clothing. The clothes were found over 550 feet up from the trail Jared was hiking at an extremely steep hillside. The sheriff stated there was no blood on the clothes. 150 feet from where they found the clothing, they found a child's skull and 1 tooth, but nothing else. Investigators stated they had to walk very carefully and climb on their feet and hands to reach the location they found the skull and tooth. The sheriff stated Jared couldn't get where they found his skull and tooth by himself. A strange statement was made by the sheriff after finding the tennis shoes. He said they didn't seem to have spent lots of times in the elements and that they were in a good condition. Reminding you these shoes were outside for 4 years. The area they found Jared's clothing, skull and tooth was searched before when the search group was in the area, but they never found anything at that time. What really happened to Jared Autodero remains a mystery to this day. On the first week of September 2002, Lost Valley Guest Ranch was hosting a medical convention. This ranch is located 12 miles west of Deckers, Colorado. It has over 15 buildings, has a swimming pool, a horse stable, and in general, usually wealthy people would visit this ranch to stay. Dr. Wills Wagner and his 53-year-old wife, Teresa Schmidt, went to the ranch from Avon, Indiana for a few days to stay. Dr. Wills was a professor at Indiana University teaching physiology. Teresa was a social worker and an author who enjoyed her work. Wills was going to attend the seminar at the ranch and Teresa was going to check the grounds, see the stables, and enjoy the mountain weather. She knew this area. She had been in this location before. In June 8, 2002, just 3 months before this visit, a huge fire hit the area and caused close to $40 million in damage. Teresa had visited the ranch just few days before the fire started. The fire skirted the Lost Valley Resort but destroyed much of the green grounds around the ranch perimeter. Teresa told her husband in the afternoon of September 6 that she was going to take a hike and check the surrounding area. She took a water bottle and some snacks and head east towards the Overlook Trail, which leads to a view of Cheeseman Lake. Teresa was an athletic woman and was used to get these types of hikes. Last time she was seen, it was at 3 p.m. on the trail she was taking to get to the lake. When she had not returned by 7 p.m., her husband reported her missing to the staff. Jefferson's County Sheriff deputies initially started the search, but then Alpine Search and Rescue Team took over the operation and did the majority of the actual search. The terrain Teresa was walking on is not rugged and doesn't have much ground to cover because of the fire. Searchers had help from canine dog teams and helicopters with no success. The only thing they found was her footprint on side of the ridge near the overlook, but that is it. The sheriff who was in charge was frustrated and stated there was nothing, not a water bottle, not a candy wrapper, nothing. 2 days after Teresa went missing, a heavy rain started in the area which slowed down the effort. The search for Teresa was officially terminated 6 days after she went missing. Remember, Teresa knew the area and there is not much places for her to hide. It's hard to get lost in this area, especially after fire demolished everything just 2 months before the incident. Searchers never found a scene indicating she was attacked by an animal. Teresa Schmidt was never found. Catherine Maynard was a 38-year-old woman who used to run a cattle ranch 12 miles east of White Bird on Skookumchuck Creek of Idaho. She was single and had her mother living with her. On January 12, 1953, Catherine realized a few of her cattle had gone missing, so she took her pony and went to the wilds to look for them. Late in the afternoon, when Catherine had not returned, as it was getting dark and cold, Catherine's mother started to get worried. She called the other ranchers in the area for assistance and they responded. 2 days after Catherine went missing, 3 searchers found her body sprawled in the snow with no pony in the area. Searchers found a very strange scene. When Catherine left home, she was wearing felt boots under her overshoes. When she was found, she had removed both overshoes and one of the felt boots. Her body was found 2 miles east of her ranch. Searchers found Catherine's pony 2 miles from her body. They did an autopsy on the body and stated she died from prolonged confusion preceding exhaustion. It's very unlikely she got lost and died from exhaustion in the area she lived and was very familiar with. She was only 2 miles from her ranch and 2 miles from her pony. And why would she take off her shoes when it was getting cold? We will never know what really killed Catherine Maynard.